Hello, and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some big news coming out from Russia. We're going to be talking about Vladimir Putin, the Russian president. We're also going to be talking about the Korean Peninsula a little bit. We'll talk about North Korea, and we'll talk about South Korea. All right, so the big news here is that Putin is threatening to arm North Korea if the U.S. does not stop supplying Ukraine. So right now, the U.S. is supplying Ukraine with lots of weaponry. So is Western allies. Many European nations are giving Ukraine tons of weaponry, air defense, missiles, everything. And they're now starting to use these weapons to start striking inside of Russian territory. So once the U.S. announced this, roughly about 2 weeks ago, I'd say, we had U.S. President Joe Biden tell Vladimir Zelensky that he can now start striking targets inside of Russian territory in the Kharkiv region. We also reported today that apparently Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor for the United States, excuse me, is now allowing Ukraine to expand those operations, and now they can target anywhere inside of Russia that they want to, as long as they are not long-range strikes. So the escalation is continuing over here in the Ukraine war, and the U.S. is now allowing strikes inside of Russian territory beyond the Kharkiv region. And we've heard many times before that I've done reports on this stating that Russian President Vladimir Putin has come out and said that he would start arming Western enemies. So let's say North Korea, maybe the Yemen Houthis, maybe some countries down in South America. Let's say maybe Venezuela or maybe Cuba or something like that. That they would start arming them with long-range missiles that they could use to go after Western targets or U.S. targets. This obviously would create a big issue for the United States. And this is kind of like a retaliation event from Vladimir Putin saying, well, if you're going to allow Ukraine to strike inside of our territory, well, then we'll do the same. So that's what he's talking about right now. He just visited North Korea just the other day. And while he was there, he signed a defense pact with North Korea as well, stating that if they ever come under attack, that they would come to their aid. Either country would, whether Russia came under attack or North Korea was under attack, each country would support each other in a time of war. And also a big thing that came out was a statement that Vladimir Putin made while he was there visiting in North Korea. He stated that he would not rule out sending long-range weapons to Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, and arm them with long-range missiles that they could potentially use against South Korea or maybe Japan or any other allies that are in that region that are allies to the United States. So this is very, very big news, and there's definitely going to be lots and lots of tensions, and we're going to get closer and closer to a war happening between North and South Korea. Potentially even Japan could get involved here too, because they're right there in the midst of all of this too. So I want to talk some more about this today. But something real quick that I wanted to show you guys was regarding South Korea. Okay, this was South Korea's response to Russian President Vladimir Putin stating that he would arm North Korea. Was South Korea came out and said they will consider supplying arms to Ukraine after Russia and North Korea signed strategic pacts. So I'm hearing they may send them like artillery shells, maybe equipment, vehicles, any other type of air defense. They may start sending them military equipment in response to this, and this is only going to create more destabilization and push North and South Korea to a war at some point, which obviously would most likely involve the United States. So just all over the world right now, the United States is so close to getting into a war with Russia, potentially China as well. Just with so many different countries right now, it's very, very possible that a world war is going to break out and the United States is going to be involved with all these countries. So now North Korea, potentially China, Russia for sure, okay? And maybe even Iran at some point. So there's definitely some big players here that the United States should be worried about. And this is creating lots and lots of tension around the world. And, we're going to continue to see this. Maybe Vladimir Putin might come out and announce that he's going to start sending long-range weapons to the Yemen Houthis. Okay, there's lots of issues going on down there with the international shipping lanes, okay? The maritime waters that are being attacked near the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea. I've done lots of videos on that. So just lots and lots of information to cover. So I want to get right into this as well. This is on CNN World. Putin threatens to arm North Korea if West continues to supply weapons to Ukraine. Okay, this just coming out today. Vladimir Putin has threatened to arm North Korea if Western countries continue providing military aid to Ukraine, as Russia's President new defense pact with Pyongyang sparked a series of diplomatic reverberations in the region. Putin's remarks at the end of the state visit to Vietnam capped off a week in which Moscow sought to rattle the West and project strength from a part of the world in which its influence still carries weight. Those who supply these weapons believe they are not at war with us, I said, including in Pyongyang, that we then reserve the right to supply weapons to other regions of the world, Putin told reporters Thursday at the end of his trip to Hanoi. In response to a question on whether the supply of Western long-range weapons could be considered an act of aggression. Where they will go next, he said, suggesting those countries could then sell the weapons to Western adversaries. The U.S. called Putin's remarks incredibly concerning in a briefing on Friday. It would destabilize the Korean Peninsula, State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller told reporters, and depending on the type of weapons they provide, might violate UN Security Council resolutions that Russia itself has supported. Russia and North Korea signing of a mutual defense pact this week sent ripples out across the region, with South Korea summoning Moscow's envoy on Friday and Japan and the United States voicing serious concern. So yeah, even Japan is very worried about this as well. This could definitely activate Japan. Japan could start getting involved here militarily. They could start sending weapons to Ukraine as well. So this could just what we're going to see here, in my opinion, is just more escalation and getting closer to a worldwide conflict breaking out. The Defense Pact, which comes against the backdrop of Putin's grinding war against Ukraine, is the most significant agreement signed by Russia and North Korea in decades, and is seen as something of a rival of their 1961 Cold War-era mutual defense pledge. Excuse me. The deal was inked on Wednesday during Putin's trip to Pyongyang, where he received a lavish welcome from fellow autocrat Kim Jong-un, North Korea's leader. Consolidates the Kim regime's powerful link with a world power that wields a veto on the UN Security Council, and means Russia now has a defense pact with South Korea's biggest enemy. South Korea, U.S. ally, condemned the treaty and summoned Russia's ambassador on Friday, a rare diplomatic step that illustrates the soured tensions between Seoul and Moscow. First Vice Minister Kim Hong-kyun relayed the South Korean government's stern position on Kim and Putin's defense pact, urging Moscow to immediately halt military cooperation with Pyongyang and abide by UN Security Council resolutions, the foreign ministry said. Although they told him to do that, highly doubt he's going to agree to that. He said many times that they will work with North Korea regardless of how the world thinks or feels about it. Even though North Korea is under heavy sanctions, that they will still do business with them. Okay, they will still buy weaponry from North Korea and potentially in the future provide them with long-range weapons. Kim told the Russian ambassador that any cooperation that could directly or indirectly help reinforce the North Korean military power is a violation of the UN Security Council resolution, adding that Russia, a permanent member of the UNSC, should act responsibly according to the ministry. An official of the U.S. military, which maintains almost 30,000 troops in South Korea, told CNN the closer Russia-North Korea ties were troubling. These developments should concern any country that cares about maintaining peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula, abiding by UN Security Council resolutions, and supporting the people of Ukraine as they defend their freedom and independence against Russia's brutal invasion, the military official said. So this is just absolutely out of control, guys. It's very bad what we're seeing over here, and it's just continuing to see more and more escalation. It never drops down. It never cools off. It continues to get worse every single week. And again, we are closer than ever to a major military conflict throughout the entire world, with multiple countries getting involved. You would think that things would just cooler heads would prevail and things would just cool off and everybody would just kind of calm down. But the major issue here is this war in Ukraine. Okay, Russia is not willing to give up Ukraine. They don't want Ukraine to become a NATO member. Ukraine says they will become a NATO member. Even the NATO Secretary General said they will become part of NATO. They're even trying to move into becoming part of the EU right now. So Russia, it basically has no choice but to try to take over Ukraine before they eventually do this, if that's what they want. If they don't want Ukraine to become a NATO or EU member, then that's going to be a big military goal for them. And this is only going to continue to make this war even worse and then potentially drag NATO into this. Excuse me. Sorry for my voice. It's still not doing good today, but we're working on it. But yeah, guys, it's just, it's really bad over here. Okay. And I don't know what else I can say other than just be prepared for anything that could come from this, because things are just very tense over here, and any day now things could just pop off. Okay, Ukraine's going to be getting F-16s pretty soon, more air defense, and they're getting beefed up. Okay, they're getting beefed up for this fight, and it's only going to continue to escalate from here. We will not see any de-escalation, in my opinion. And now we're starting to see more countries getting involved, like the Korean Peninsula here now. Okay, North Korea, South Korea, potentially Japan. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. I'm curious to know what you think regarding this situation. Share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions down in the comment section. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.